Great, thanks, Ajay, and everybody. This next session is focused on how destinations can use the happiness agenda for their branding and marketing advantage. So we have a presentation now from Elke Dens, who works with VisitFlanders in Belgium.
Hello, I'm really happy to be here today. My name is Elke Dens, and I will be speaking on behalf of VisitFlanders. At VisitFlanders, we believe in the positive and transformative power of tourism. We believe tourism is not a goal on its own, but it's a mean that leads to a higher purpose, the quality of life. We believe that tourism can contribute to the quality of life by providing meaning. Meaning to the visitor, of course, but also to the place itself and people that live in a place. To the whole visitor economy, the tourism ecosystem, as we call it. We represent this ecosystem by a tree, a lime tree, like you will find many of them in Flanders, so it's real. And we believe the ecosystem of tourism is really a living system with a lot of interdependence. Our model is based on the regenerative approach in which tourism nurtures a place, if we do it well, of course. And if we do it well, we will see a whole destination flourishing. Thanks to our guide on this regenerative thinking, Anna Pollock, we use the term flourishing, because we want our trees to flourish just like we want our destination to flourish, hence flourishing destinations. So we provide meaning, first of all, to the visitor. And by providing meaning to the visitor, we want to have a positive impact on her or his quality of life. And this does not necessarily mean that we want to make them happy in the strict sense of the word. For example, in this place, we call it Passchendaele, people get really silent. Sometimes they become much more grateful than ever before. And I have heard stories of people that couldn't talk about this trip even 2 years after the trip. Some people, they changed jobs. Some people reunited with friends and family. So that is the impact that we can have on a visitor's quality of life. And in the same way, these visitors have an impact on the life of people that live here, on the residents. Residents sometimes even call them friends. And now with COVID-19, we have seen this even more clear than ever before, how much they miss the meaningful connections.
Flanders. On these battlegrounds of the First World War, here too, things are quite different nowadays. We lack the usual liveliness. We lack company. But most of all,
we lack you, our visitors. Seriously, we miss you.
Something I miss now is people from the whole world coming to find their special grave and to grieve. As you can see at the moment, there's only cows here around the cemetery, that's all.
This is the visitor's book. See, most of these people are Canadians. Pages after pages. And this is Corona. We're really looking forward for these people to come back and well, just to be friends again.
the things we miss about you. Our police even misses giving the Aussies fines for driving on the wrong side of the road.
I also miss like New Zealanders doing a haka under the Manning Gate.
One of the things I miss here is the Australians are coming here and they always call me mate.
I miss the friendship with the English.
I miss even the weird traditions like putting crisps on their sandwiches.
We miss you.
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 We really, really, really miss you.
And this friendship of visitors is also very meaningful for our entrepreneurs. We can never forget that businesses usually start from a passion from something that people really want to share, whether it's a beer or a bet. And of course, the money that they get through tourism will also enhance their quality of life. But it's not only about the money. And last but not least, I would like to introduce you to our placeholders. These are usually the people that sit on a bench under the tree, reflecting on life in every aspect. They are actually the gardeners of the place and the soul of the place, and they keep it alive for future generations. And we think that a DMO should also be considered as a kind of placeholder, balancing between the interest of the visitor, the entrepreneur, and the residents, providing meaning to all, and thereby also making sure that the quality of life enhances for everyone. So this was just a brief introduction to the journey of flourishing Flanders. And if you want to know more about it, please contact me anytime. And as soon as we can travel again, you are very welcome to visit Flanders and to enhance your quality of life and ours. So together we can plant a whole forest. I look forward to it. Bye-bye.
That's great. That's Elke from VisitFlanders. What we'll do then is press on with a presentation from Anna Pollock.
Hello and happy Happiness Day, everyone. I'm Anna Pollock, founder of the consultancy Conscious Travel, and I've been working with tourism destinations for well over 45 years. So let me begin by thanking and congratulating the organisers of this event, especially Paul. Thank you for inviting me to make a brief contribution. For almost half my working life, I've been questioning the dominance of financial quantitative indicators of success, believing that tourism could do so much more for nature, culture and society than simply focusing on the numbers, the cash and the tax revenues. So I'm here today to celebrate what I hope will be a milestone on the journey towards a better tourism. I believe our survival as a sector, and for that matter as a species, demands deep systems change in the way we humans understand, and our role in the world, our place in the world, and how we interact with each other and the rest of life on planet Earth. Now, students of that tough subject called systems change know there are only two levers that could help move a system as big as tourism. One, the relatively easy one, is to change its purpose. And the second, a much harder task, is to change the dominant paradigm, the narrative, or in short, that bundle of assumptions, values, and beliefs that shape what we consider to be our purpose. We all know that until recently, the primary goal of most tourism destinations around the world each year was to grow the number of visitors, the gross spending, and the contribution to GDP. Two forces have interrupted that pattern and challenged that conviction. First came over-tourism. At least after a decade of consistent growth, it was becoming clear that in popular areas, too much tourism could actually hurt us, or hurt a destination. The second force was nature, in the form of an invisible microbe that managed to stop tourism in its tracks and kick it right back to the same performance levels that were recorded in the 1990s, while also showing us that we were not as resilient as we thought we were. Furthermore, our quest for always wanting more was making more of us unhappy. So I'm here to celebrate and applaud the organisers of the conference, and especially the authors of the excellent publication, The Happiness Policy Handbook. It's well researched, it's balanced, it's very readable. Do buy one and make sure every politician in your neighbourhood finds one on his desk. The focus of my work for the past decade has been on moving us beyond sustainability towards regeneration. That's a very complex and a new topic that seems to be attracting lots of attention recently, but not much understanding. To practice regeneration, though, which is all about systems change, you have to pull the other lever and change the way we see tourism, the way we understand it, not as a mechanical conveyor belt, of separate functions, all in boxes, but as a living system, and a complex one at that, behaving more like a forest or a garden. Tourism is a network, a web of self-organizing, independent businesses. And the truth is, no one's in charge, and you cannot control it. But like all life, its purpose is to thrive and flourish, and for that reason, sensing the happiness of the host population as well as the guest is a good idea. If happy, host populations are more likely to offer a warm welcome, be willing to share their lives with strangers, and give excellent service. Happy guests then go home and rave about their trip and plan another one, or persuade a friend to go there too. But it's not that simple, is it? We are learning from the effect of the pandemic. Mental health problems, for example, can, like cancer, like COVID-19, be asymptomatic. What's really going on can be hidden by a smile of normality. So happiness is just one measure of well-being. Which brings me back to the second lever that's needed to change our system, which, let's face it, is currently very self-absorbed, very anthropocentric. We fail to look at the whole living system, all life, of which we humans with just 2 legs and an oversized brain and an equally oversized sense of our own importance, we're just one part. It's not only our human happiness and well-being that matter. In fact, COVID has driven home the lesson that we cannot be healthy on an unhealthy planet, nor can we be happy on an unhappy planet. Well, not for long, anyway. So these observations are not meant as criticism, because I see that Laura and her team understand these connections. But I feel I have to add a small note of caution, because I know there's a tendency in tourism, which we know loves to be happy all of the time. There's a tendency to grab the easy headlines and run with them. There's a fascination with indices and league tables, which by their very nature suggest that utterly unique places can be compared in some way. So despite these cautions, I truly believe the goal shift from more to greater well-being is here to stay. And provided we can see its role in changing the whole system, it will have a lasting beneficial effect, and we might just survive. And be happy too. So all the best for this great movement. And thank you once again, Paul and Laura, for having me on this event to share some thoughts.
Wonderful there from Anna, who, as many of you know, is a real visionary and doing excellent work around the planet, advising different destinations. The book she referred to in there for everybody to buy, his or her government, local government officials, is the Happiness Policy Handbook. And if you visit happycounts.org, the Happiness Alliance website, or come into the Planet Happiness website and then go into the Happiness Alliance website, you'll find the book there, and perhaps we can share that in the chat. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Chris Flynn from down south there in Sydney, from the World Tourism and Cultural Heritage, the World Tourism Association for Cultural Heritage. Chris, do join us, and here you come. Great, wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you, Paul. Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks, Paul, for inviting me to be part of this great event. And I'd like to wish everybody who's listening from all the 4 corners of the world, have a wonderful International Day of Happiness. So greetings from a very, very wet Sydney, Australia. My name, as Paul said, is Chris Flynn. I'm the President and CEO of the World Tourism Association for Culture and Heritage, or WTACH. And my presentation today, surprise, surprise, is going to be on tourism, culture, and happiness. Now, I believe I only have about 5 minutes, and I know we're running a little bit late. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump straight into this. Tourism has long been seen as a way to help destinations drive sustainable economic growth. We know that. But the historical perception has always been of a benign industry that generates value for intangible or soft assets, such as culture and heritage. These assets have traditionally been used as a way to attract visitors, a unique way that separates destinations from each other. So they're a resource to drive growth and to drive profit, to build businesses and create jobs. So culture and heritage was really the platform that fueled the modern era of tourism promotion. And when we actually look back at some of these ancient posters that we've seen, you know, the pyramids, the beautiful floating city of Venice, and just about everywhere around the world, what you actually find and what you actually see is what they're promoting is what's unique to that particular culture, to that particular environment, to that particular destination. And it's the same today. So as tourism grew, so did the opportunity to expand the visitor experience. So the thought process behind that is more experiences equals more visitors. More visitors equals more revenue. More revenue builds a healthier economy. And a healthy economy improves lives and livelihoods. Or does it? But visitors also consume precious and often fragile resources. They generate costs in waste, infrastructure damage, and of course they disrupt the social fabric and cultural fabric of a destination. So as tourism grew, it became the victim of its own success. In 2019, we produced 1.5 billion international tourist arrivals. Now let me give you some mental arithmetic just to give you an indication of what that means. If I was to take 1 million seconds away from today, I would end up with about 12 days. If I take 1 billion seconds away from today, I end up with 33 years. So when we start talking about 1.5 billion and 4 million tourist arrivals a day, what does it look like? It looks like this. Not exactly in the floating city now, is it, Venice? Not really what you see on the postcards. Or here in Barcelona, tourists go home. Tourists are welcome, locals are not. They can't afford to live there. There's less than 50,000 Venetians now living in Venice because tourism has driven them out. When we look at the Taj Mahal, record crowds, as you can see. Yet the suburbs that surround it are some of the worst in India because nothing goes back to the community. And what about Rapa Nui, Easter Island? They have a population of about 6,000 people. In 2019, they generated just over 100,000 visitors. Now, wherever you are today, just think, could your country cope with 15 times the population in tourists? I doubt it. This is why we get this kind of desecration. And of course, that fuels unhappiness in a destination. And wherever we look in the world, our towns, our villages, it seems to be the same story. And it doesn't matter where you live. If your house happens to be where someone can get the perfect shot for their Instagram account, hey, who's going to climb the fence? They all are. So the problem was, or is, that the equation that's been used in the past is profit over people and place, when what we should be looking for is prosperity. And when we look at a different equation and we invest in people and place, we build prosperity. And the sheer nature of prosperity is about sharing. It's about community. It's about giving back. And when that happens, magic happens. And we start to see a lift, a different feel. We start to see and build pride in our communities. We start to celebrate who we are as people and share that experience with our visitors because we want them to celebrate with us. Now, you might think from the images I've just shown you that we're talking here mostly about community tourism small little pockets, but that's not the case. I'm speaking to you from Sydney, Australia, and every year we have our own festival that's designed to build pride. It's called Vivid. And this is where we light up the city in a million different ways. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm lucky enough to live here. Now, this attracts many visitors from overseas, many visitors from interstate, but the vast majority of people who consume this are local people, people like me, who visit this city and see it in a different light and feel proud to be part of this community. And being proud and pride drives happiness. So, in the future, it should be about celebrating our historical past, about respecting our sacred sites and beliefs, treasuring our natural beauty, and preserving our unique cultural ancestry. Why? Because we're protecting their future. Thank you. That's me done, Paul.
Wonderful. Thanks. Thanks very much for those excellent images and remarks, Chris, and for the wonderful work that WTACH is doing to improve the management of destinations and the promotion of culture and cultural heritage. So to conclude this third session, everybody can see that what we're doing is moving from the well-being agenda and its relevance to destinations and destination planning, and then looking at different approaches that destinations are able to take to carry this agenda forward. So thanks again to all the presenters there. I would now like to pass over to Dr. Talib Rafai for the next session, which looks at the competitiveness angle of happiness coming into destinations. Talib, are you ready? Over to you.